Dan is in Lima, Ohio. Hi, Dan. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thanks, Dave, for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Appreciate it. Well, I recently had knee surgery, both total knees. So,
Ooh.
and as I'm going to physical therapy, that happened December 2nd. As I'm going to physical therapy, they're telling me I can no longer kneel and I can no longer climb. And I am a carpenter, and that's what I do. So it's like, okay, I have to do something different. I do have options. I can go ahead and retire. I have to take a penalty, and I would draw approximately $3,118 a month until the day I die. So that's not a bad option, but it's like I want to make sure I do the right option. If I would make it until 62, I'd draw almost $3,800 a month.
How old are you?
I'll be 58 in January.
You're a union carpenter, I take it?
Yes, union carpenter, yes.
Okay.
So the rant and rave about college and everything else like that, for you people that ain't smart, a union trade is a great thing. Pipe fitter, boilermaker, carpenter, It's all a great thing.
Yeah. What do you make a year back when you were still swinging a hammer?
I make about 65 a year, 60.
Okay. Good for you.
Depends on how much overtime I work, which is usually a lot.
Do you have any other savings?
Yes, I also had the carpenter union comes with also an annuity, and I've got like $34,000 in that, and I've pulled that out of the carpenters union and put it in Edward Jones in stocks. But as you can see, the last year the stock market has not been friendly to my investments there. So, I would like to know more about switching it to a mutual fund of some sort that will still do decent through a year like this year.
Well, I mean, you would be selling something that's down and buying something that's down, so it's as good a time to do it as any, as far as that switching that over goes. Okay, so you're not going to be a carpenter anymore, and you're going to be making $3,100, right?
Right.
So what are you going to do now?
Well, and that's the thing. I could go do something else for a couple of years, and I'd like to because I would like to pay off my mortgage.
Well, I mean, you're young. You got a lot of things you could do. You just not be a carpenter. You could be something else. And this is what we call an encore career. It's the second act.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're 58. Yeah. You still have lots of time. Even just in general, I think we had this conversation a few weeks ago where it's nice to keep your brain active and moving and doing things. Even if it's not the career you've known for so many years, just to have that stimulation versus...
I bet you on those super, super cold days or those super, super hot days, you had something pop into your head you'd like to do someday.
I messed my shoulder. I got another story. I messed my shoulder up in 13. So I went back, got fixed, tore off my rotator, tore off my labia, tore off my biceps. So... I get it fixed. I go back to work. A year later, same pains, So go see the doctor. Doctor says, you need to do something different. You're a carpenter and it's tearing your shoulder up. So I started my own business. I started a Matco tool franchise, and I did that for like 5 years. And I had a son-in-law that moved back from Florida, and I was like, come along with me. Give this a try. And he did awesome at it. So I set him up in that business, and I went back being a carpenter. So, and then recently, my knees, I knew they were bad, and then you go get them MRI.
So if you can do a Mac tool business, you can do another business, right?
Yeah. But
so I'm telling you, those days that you were laid up in the hospital or those days that it was too hot to be outside or too cold to be outside and you were out there anyway, you were thinking, someday I'm going to go do blank, 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 and you ought to go do that now. That's all I'm saying. You're not a carpenter anymore. Your doc told you, you're done.
Do you think he should go ahead and take the early penalty and get the 3118 or wait on that? Like do another career that fully funds his life?
I mean, yeah, if you can just eat, if you can make enough to live and not take it now and take it at 65, that's fine. That's going to be a lot better deal for him. Or take it now and still go get money, right?
Well,
Either one's okay.
Yeah, if you do take it now, you could still get a job that's a little bit more of a passion project. Like if you want to go, not volunteer, but work in a nonprofit or something like that. I guess that's the case.
No, I want him to go make some money.
So get a real, like
he
full.
ran a business making money with the tool business before.
So best case scenario, he waits till 62. Don't touch that, and then let it get to where it's 3,800.
Either one's fine, but if he takes it now, it does take the pressure off trying to make the other thing happen immediately because you got money to eat with.
Yeah,
so I'm probably going to take it now just for that reason, but I'm still going to say, go start another thing, man.
Yeah, you've done it before.
You're not going to kick your feet up on $3,000 a month. You're not done at that, so you need some more than that. So.
Well, and even just beyond the money, you told the story recently about your fishing friend who took off for a while, then he got fat, and then went back to work.
Yeah,
and he didn't enjoy it. A lot of people, they get all that time back, and then they're like, wait a minute, I want to do something. I'm excited to do something. I want to get out of the house.
Yep, that's exactly right. So there's a benefit of that, and I just think, all I'm saying is you've been through all this pain physically, and now you don't really have the option of doing this anymore. So the only question is whether you take the retirement now or you wait and take it later. Doesn't really matter. Either one's going to be fine, but neither case is enough. So you're going to you need to go create some income doing something else. That's the important part of this particular discussion. By the way, folks, it is good to stop and recognize this, okay? Buford did a book called Halftime, and he said that men in particular, the data tells us, spend the first half of their life in acquisition and the second half of their life seeking significance. Women too, but the study he did was on men, and the research that he had was on that. And if you don't reach for significance in that second half, you tend to get off the rails and get into drugs or run off with a secretary in a red convertible or whatever, that kind of stuff, right? So guys, you need to aim at something in the second half. Now, sometimes your second half starts at 30. Sometimes it starts at 58. What's your second half? It's not an age thing. There's like an arc to your career, an arc to what you're doing. And the first half of it is acquisition. The second half is significance. The important part of that conversation is the other piece of data that's out there that we do know is that your highest, the typical person, your highest income potential decade is the decade of your 50s, 50 to 60, because that's the point in your life that all of your experience in your career field is now valuable. And before then, you've been gathering that experience by making mistakes. Now all of those mistakes are called experience, and you really know things that you just didn't know before. It puts you in a sweet spot to go really cha-ching. And so that's why this encore career thing comes up is very, very, very important.
Backed by popular demand, it's more of the Best of the Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, co-host of the show. Now, every family has crazy, and if you think yours doesn't, maybe it's you. Here's some of the craziest family drama stories we've seen on the show. And let me warn you, it's a doozy.
Jessica is in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Hi, Jessica. How are you?
I'm doing great, Dave. Thank you for taking my call. It's an honor to speak to you.
You too. What's up?
So I have a question about some inheritance that I received when my dad passed away. My sister was purposefully written out of the will.
Oh.
And I have always wanted to, I think it's the right thing to share something with her, but I don't agree with the way she's financially lived her life and the decisions she's made. So I do not want to give her cash. The decision I made was to have some money set aside for wedding whenever she gets married and to make a one-time principal payment on her student loan that she's been carrying. And she now thinks it's a waste for me to make that payment. And she thinks you'll agree with her, which I know you won't.
Why was she cut out of the will?
The relationship between her and my dad fell apart years ago, and I believe my dad's stubbornness led it to not getting repaired.
Okay.
So
that's so sad.
Yeah.
Yes, I know it is.
How long has he been gone?
So, 5 years.
How old are you, and how old is she?
I'm 46, and she's 43.
And obviously you guys have a pretty good relationship.
Yes, we do.
Okay. And how much money are you talking about?
I want to make a $20,000 payment towards her student loan.
And out of how much money did you receive?
Let me see. I think about 150 total.
Okay, all right.
There's a part of you
No.
that is feels somewhat maternal towards her, that you don't trust her to make good
Maybe a little bit in
decisions,
some ways.
and so you're gonna give her a gift because it's the right thing to do, but you're gonna direct how it. If it feels like a weird relational dynamic between sisters, is
Well,
that
she's irresponsible with money.
right? Is there discomfort there between the two of you? You said she was going to say that was a waste of a gift.
Well, yes, because the direction she's going is she's not doing anything to pay it off with any urgency. She's just riding it out until it gets to 25 years, thinking the balance will be forgiven because of an income-based repayment plan. And what I'm offering to give her and what she would pay over the next 13 years till that happens would not total the total balance of the loan.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of things going on here. First, let's just talk about the Public Service Student Loan Forgiveness Program. As of today, the last I'm sorry?
She's not even public service loan forgiveness.
Why does she feel? Oh, she just feels like in general it's going to be forgiven.
Yeah, she found something online that says the income-based repayment plan, when the loan is at 25 years, the balance will be forgiven.
Yeah, it hasn't been so far. 227,000 people have applied for student loan forgiveness under these programs. 3,700 out of 200,000 have gotten it. That's less than 1%. And so she believes a lie about getting out of the student loan debt. So that's one piece of information. So in that sense, we got other problems with her student loan other than whether you give her money or whether she pays it off, because that student loan's not going away unless the Biden administration and the Democratic Congress decides to forgive student loan debt, which is possible for the first time in our history. There's obviously a lot of rhetoric in the last 4 or 5 months since the inauguration about that. So, and there's no way to predict what they will actually do, or if they will do anything other than just talk about it. Their Congress. Right. So,
normally, normally in a situation like this, I want to give because it's something that I think is the right thing to do. And it always is hard when you come up against this moment when you think by giving the right thing to do, I'm going to enable somebody to hurt themselves further. Is that where you're at, Jessica, or that you just don't like how she's spending it?
Yes, I don't want to enable her bad behavior because she's obviously not going to put it towards the loan. It will most likely get at least somewhat wasted and spent. And I really want to help her.
Yeah. If we could take the student loan out of the thing, it would change the equation for me. I mean, does she have a car loan or something you can just pay off?
No, she doesn't.
This is her only debt.
Talking about saving for a house.
This is her own. This is her only debt.
She's got this student loan.
Is this her only debt?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay. And the interesting thing is you all have talked about it to where the language has changed to where now she feels entitled to it.
I
like entitled to tell you what to do with the money you're giving her. That was interesting part of the thing too.
Yeah.
So, wow, I don't know what to tell you. I think here's an idea. When in doubt, don't. And just say, you know what? I want to do something to honor you out of this inheritance because I think you got a raw deal. But I also don't want to participate in a delusional situation, and your student loan's I don't think your student loan's going away. And so how much does she owe?
I think 92.
And what does she make?
She makes now about 60.
Okay. I might offer to match her for every $5,000 she puts on it, you'll put $5,000 on it.
I like that idea.
But you know, and it's just you and her talking, and you're just saying, you're an adult, you have the right to do what you want to do, sister. But I also have that, and I cannot give you money for. I agree with you that giving you money for this is going to end up being wasted because you're not going to get it paid off, and then it's going to be a bigger problem because you think it's going to go away. I don't think it's going to go away, so I really don't want to put the 20 on that, and so I don't know how to give you money because because I think what you're doing with this is irresponsible, and so I love you and I want you to win, and so what we're going to do right now is nothing. I'm just going to sit back and watch a little bit, and if you decide you want to get after the student loan, and I'll put some money towards it with you and I'll help you, but until you do, right now I'm just going to watch because I want to do something, but I don't know how to do it right now, and so what I'm going to do is wait.
Okay. And in the meantime, should I do something different with it other than it just sitting in my savings account at the bank?
Yeah. Well, you can do whatever you want. I mean, you can put it in a mutual fund if you want, and then you can pull it out and give it to her. But later on. But it's just the biggest thing here is it's just all tied back to this heartbreaking relationship between her and your dad.
Yeah, that's the part I don't like about it, Dave, is because Dad did what he did, now she's holding this, and she's got to make one of two choices. Either I'm going to become Dad, and I'm going to use my relational position and my money to keep you and not share it with you because of your decisions, your choices. So I'm replaying what just happened.
Oh, that's true.
Or I'm going to give you money knowing that I'm just throwing it in the wind.
This is a no-win.
I'm throwing it in the wind. That's right.
No-win.
And so my impulse, there's always wisdom in, hey, just do nothing.
That's
right?
all I said. Yeah.
And then my thought is, you know what? I'm gonna free myself from this. And so it's the same impulse, just the other side. Which, if you feel in your heart's the right thing, Dad did a raw deal, and the right thing to do is to give money. The right thing to do is to give money,
and forget it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and that's where I want to.
It's not on you.
Well, it drills down to if someone's doing drugs, someone's hurting themselves versus they're gonna go buy a dumb car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But man, especially when you're holding that money, you could really help them with their student loan. It's hard. It's just a messy situation.
Monique is with us in Bangor, Maine. Hi, Monique. How are you?
Very well. Thank you to Kelly for taking my call today.
Sure. If you got by her, your life's good. What's up?
That's a good move, Monique.
So I am looking for some guidance from Dave and Dr. Delaney about my will. I have two daughters, one of whom is doing very well financially. She and her husband are in the 1%. And the other daughter earns about $50,000. And for several years, I felt uncomfortable about how to, divide up the assets. I'm an everyday millionaire. But more recently, I've gotten to the point where I don't want to give either of them any money.
Why?
I feel like I've worked so hard my whole life. I paid for college for them. I've paid over $500,000 for college for them. And they've turned into socialists. And they just, but they have. And
well, you sent them the wrong college.
Yeah.
Monique, you're my favorite call maybe in 2 months.
I know we're all laughing.
No,
but
we're with
frankly,
you. We're with you.
I'm depressed. I'm very depressed about where I see my children heading, and I think I don't want my money to go to them, and I feel terrible about that.
You shouldn't. They're not entitled. They didn't hit the DNA lottery. They're not entitled. My children have been instructed since they were small that in order to get the opportunity to manage the money that God gave me to manage, meaning that I hand off the responsibility to manage some of the Ramsey fortune to them, they will have to be people of character. Socialists are not people of character.
Okay.
They're parasites. And so if my children are going to be parasites, I'm not going to finance their lives so that they have a reality show.
Is there a way to put money in, let's say, a trust where they couldn't get access to it till they were, let's say, 70 years old?
Well, I mean, then they'd just be a 70-year-old socialist, right?
Yeah, well, but I'm hoping by then they will have kind of woken up.
You can. All of our estate is trust based, and our trust is. We've done it from a faith perspective, not an economics perspective. But if they're not walking with God, they don't get to manage God's money. It's what the trust says.
Really?
Yep. In no uncertain terms. And so, in your case, you could change that lingo and just go, when you become a capitalist, you get the opportunity to manage this money.
Monique, here's what I would do. I would take some time to distill down beyond the monikers and the labels.
Book report on Atlas Shrugged.
What? That's fantastic. Man, I am not usually at a loss for words, and you got me on that one. Monique, here's what I want you to do. I want you to distill down beneath the quote-unquote word socialist. What are the things that they are saying that concerns you, that you think that you are leaning into? And I want you to have a direct, straight conversation about what these things are. And then I want you to identify them. And like Dave said, it's your money. You can do what you want to with it. I've seen more and more over the last 4 or 5 years a lot of semantic shell games. And once you sit down and talk to somebody, it's like, oh, we're way on the same page. I just thought this, about that, right?
Yeah. I think you can say that you are not required morally, ethically, legally, spiritually to leave your money to people that you do not agree with how they live their lives.
Period, full stop.
In there, right? So, now, once you've said that, then you can start to have some discussions with them that are very gentle and very life-giving and very
direct.
kind. Very kind and very clear. And it's like, okay, I've paid for all this stuff for you, and truthfully, I don't agree with the way you're living your life, and I'm not willing to finance that going forward.
Right.
And so it's up to you if you want to do that. I'm not being controlling. I just want to let you know that I'm going to go ahead and do a reading of the will, and you're not going to be in it as long as you're living this way, whatever this way is. If your kid's a heroin addict, you sit down with them and go, I'm not funding your heroin.
But what you
with my
did
death.
that is unique is you articulated what that meant. You're not vague.
Yeah,
right?
no, I'm very clear.
Very clear.
It's unbelievably detailed, and it costs $25,000 to write the trust.
Very clear.
It's ridiculous. Right. Yeah, the legal fees on this were amazing. Lucas is in Phoenix. Hey, Lucas, what's up?
Nothing much, Dave. How are you doing?
Better than I deserve. How can I help?
So I am 19 years old. I just graduated high school probably about 2 months ago. I have no debt. I've been working a lifeguarding job here in Arizona for about roughly 4 years, so I'm on good terms with them. However, it doesn't pay a lot, so I've been incorporating my new landscaping business, and then that's been really taken off. So the issue is with all of this is I've been recently kicked out of the home, and it's not been for, not going to college or being lazy or alcohol or drugs or anything like that. They just really, you don't really see eye to eye. And we tried going to therapy and whatnot to try to work through that, but this really hasn't been working out. So my mom wanted me out, and I've been staying with a friend of mine who goes to my same church. And so we've been, he's been mentoring me and kind of teaching me some stuff about finances and whatnot, just trying to help me get my feet up underneath me. And so my whole goal here is to try to do a minimalistic mindset, just so that way I can focus into more of my future, not my, like the present, and, wasting money on certain things. And so right now I have no credit history. And so it's very difficult to, buy anything that's going to help me live somewhere. Right. So, currently I'm with him. And so I'm thinking of, getting like a mini camper that I can pull on the back of my truck. And I have an actual place to park it. And it's about $17,000 outright. So if I walk out the door, it's about $17,000 to buy that. Now, I don't want to lease it because they go down in value so quickly, and it's really just a bad deal that way. So I really don't know what to do, because all I have right now is about $3,700 to $4,000.
It's kind of a scary place, Lucas.
Yeah, it really it is, and it kind of woke me up a little bit.
Yeah. So, you have a landscaping business, and you are making what kind of income?
So, when I'm just kind of using it as a side gig, which was, a couple years ago, it was making in, $100 here, $300 there.
Now, what are you making? You need money right now. What are you making right now?
Correct. Right now, like for the past week or so, I've probably brought in about $2,000. within a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Doing what?
Just landscaping.
Okay. All right. And so you're out there hustling up landscaping business, right?
Oh yeah, I'm out there every single day. Then my lifeguarding. That if I was to work close to 40 hours a week, I'm making about $1,407 after taxes every 2 weeks for a paycheck. That's bringing me down to about $813 to $800, which is nothing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, the landscaping is going to make you a lot more.
And on top of that,
if you can get that business. On top of that, what?
Oh, on top of it, I'm working for myself, so it's more meaningful. It has greater potential.
Yeah.
That type of stuff.
Right this second, I don't give a crap about that. I'm just trying to get you where you have shelter and food.
Gotcha.
Your life's meaning is way down my list right now for you. I just want you to have a place to live and food and stability, sustainability. Then we can worry about meaning and self-actualization and those kinds of things. But right now, I've got a 19-year-old homeless kid on the phone, and that's what's running through my head. So, no, you do not need to buy a $17,000 camper under any circumstances. Okay?
Okay.
Not a good move. You have $4,000. If you can find a ratty old used one for $1,000, which you probably actually can, and you want to live in that for 4 months while you build up some more cash and stabilize your income and then go rent an apartment with a roommate, that's okay. If you can,
So
how long can you live with the guy you're with?
She said, I mean, as long as it takes, as long as I'm working working on my butt off to get myself stabilized. And I do have a very good work ethic. Like, I'm out here working a ton.
I'm not questioning that. Okay. So,
right.
So we need to define that, because when someone comes to stay in my home, I want to know when they're leaving.
Gotcha. Right. Yes, and I don't want to stay there because it's not my home. Right?
I know, but I just, as long as it takes, could be till you're 29. He didn't mean that, so I want to know what he meant.
He's thinking so what he's meaning is like 6 months.
Okay.
Max.
Let's just
to me is
let's just do that.
Yeah.
Let's just stay there for a while.
Okay.
And let's listen and build up.
Yeah,
How big a pile of cash can you build up during that time and get your income stabilized, and then get a roommate, right?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you have very little expenses right now, Lucas, so I want you to take advantage of that while this man is giving you a lot of grace. And like Dave's saying, I would not go into debt for this camper. I know you want to live this minimalist life, and I respect that.
That's not minimalist. But $17,000 camper when you're broke is not minimalist.
Yeah. I think you should need to rent and get a roommate if after that 6 months you don't have enough for that camper, but that camper is not going up in value, and it's a depreciating asset. So it's basically like you saying, hey, can I take out a loan for $17,000 to get a truck? And we're going to say no. So I want you to live your dreams. You're 19. You got a lot of life ahead of you, but right now you need a solid foundation. You don't have that. And so you've got a great work ethic like you're talking about. Use that to your advantage. And use this free rent to your advantage and sock away. Maybe you could save up $5,000-10,000, go rent somewhere for another 6 months, and maybe a year or two from now you get that camper.
Here's my prediction, okay? Just listening to you. If you'll stay on the track, and probably going to lose the lifeguard job for more hours on the landscaping, if you can get more and more and more landscaping business, you're going to stabilize your income in the next 4 months at $3,000 to $4,000 a month. And you're going to have about $10,000 in the bank 4 months from now. With that situation, you can go rent an apartment and get a roommate, or rent a room from somebody very inexpensively, and then take your next step, which is continue to grow your business and start thinking about your careers, but paying cash all the way. This camper, it sounds kind of romantic and like you're being sacrificial or something, but it's really going to end up being a long-term bad play. And so I'm going to talk you out of that one.
Yeah, it's a tough lifestyle. I know it sounds fun. I mean, you're 19. You could probably swing it for a year or two, but eventually you just want a real place to go and sleep. So,
yeah, and just, here's the thing. If you can get your home situation sustainable and stabilized, then you can start working on your career, and you can start looking out and thinking about your future, and you can start thinking about, investing and upgrading and whatever. taking some classes or doing whatever it is you want to do with your life. There's a lot of things you can do from there. But for right now, let's get the food, shelter, clothing, transportation, and utilities going and get those basic things underway. And that's what I'd tell you to do first. And along the way, even if you're not living there, stay in touch with your mom, your dad. Tell them what's going on. I don't know what all has happened here. I can't tell. But that's not what this call's about. But it is what it's about. That's what put you here. So I want you to continue to work on that relationship if there's any way possible. Obviously, if you can't, you can't. But you want to have tried everything. You do not want to live in regret on that. And so, maybe you and your mom can be friends when you don't live there. Maybe that takes the stress off of it. I don't know how all that works in your world. But just make sure you just let them know you're okay and that you're working and that you care about them. Candace is with us in Sacramento. Hi, Candace. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So I'm having a bit of a moral dilemma that I'd love your advice on. My son, he's 19 years old, and we have decided as a family, including him in the decision-making process, that, he's got to be out on his own on June 1st. We are a month away, and he has no money saved, and his plan is to go live on a friend's couch in the bad part of town where the 2-bedroom apartment that has 5 people already living in it. So my husband and I are debating, do we give him more time? He's shown no motivation to do anything more than to save. So we're just trying to figure out what to do. And he's our first teenager, so we need some help.
Wow. That's some hard discussions, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. He's a very unmotivated teenager, just works at the drive-in, making $1,200 a month. He could probably pay to rent an apartment with some friends, but he's done nothing to save. He's making dumb, stupid kid decisions. So we feel like maybe he won't go do anything if we don't kick him out. What are your thoughts?
Coleman, what would your dad have done?
Well, I feel like there needs to be some details here on the backstory. Sounds like there's been some behavior that's violating some values and some house rules that are just, at this point, you and your husband are saying this is non-negotiable, and I guess he's admitted to this, and that's where we got to the agreement of June 1. Is that a quick? Okay. Well,
yes,
my dad would have held to the June 1, despite the fact that I would have been woefully in this scenario. If this is me and I'm not prepared, he would have held to it. And I got to tell you, I've got teenagers myself, and I'm trying to put myself into this situation, Candace, but I think that failure in my life has been the greatest teacher. And there's all different types of failure here. And it's really hard as a parent. I don't have it figured out. And but so in this situation, I'd hold to it.
You and his dad and him are in the discussion, right?
Yes. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, and we decided this back in February after he got fired from like his third, little minimum wage job. And we were like, come on, dude, you gotta start doing something. And he was just, partying a lot, coming home at all hours. He doesn't, and he was paying rent to us then. And so I was doing what, AO has had his dad do back in the day, which was, he'd pay us rent and we'd save it. And then one day when he moved out, we were going to give it to him. But then he got a speeding ticket. So, we were like, well, luckily we had this money saved for you. He hears you in my office every day, all day. So he knows the baby steps. There's nothing to get his life together. Yeah. So.
Well, I'm going to take a page out of Dr. John's book that I might not have a year ago. And I'm probably going to write all of this down as a letter for him to have and physically carry with him. And the letter also includes not only the things that he's not done, but it includes the fact that any time that you want some help, any time that you're ready to move in the direction that are consistent with the values that we've taught you, we will help you do that. We are not carving you out of our life. As a matter of fact, we are heartbroken.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my heart's broken just listening.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't imagine anything harder and sadder. But you run the danger if you go the other direction of being an enabler, and he'll be 29 and still doing the same thing.
Right, that's what we're afraid of.
Yeah, because there's no progression and no pain to move him off a dead center. So it might be that's what his wake-up call is. And you've heard A.O.'s story. His dad kicked him out. He lived in his car.
Yeah.
Because he was a smart uncle and a smart off at his mother, and run up a bunch of debt and got kicked out of school, and they threw him out. And he lived in his car for a year. But his dad checked with him every week and made sure he was okay, but let him live in his car. And so, A.O. tell you that's the best thing ever happened to him. But when he did say, "All right, Dad, I'm ready to straighten up and come home," first thing he handed him was a Dave Ramsey budget, and he got on it, by God, then, because his little tail was ready. But that's A.O.'s story in a nutshell. And so I'm thinking the thing you don't want to do with this is just abandon him to himself. I still want to keep as much love and influence over him as I possibly can by constantly extending, not help that enables, not help that causes him to continue on the same path, but any sign that's positive, I'm going to meet him on that sign. And, he goes and gets a job. "Dad, I want to try to get out of debt." "Good. If you start working on your debts, I'll pay some of it. I'll pay, I'll match whatever you put on your debt." Or, "Mom, I'm going to start doing a budget, and okay, come over here and sit down. We'll have dinner, and I'll show you, and I'll coach you with this, and I'll meet with you over coffee once a week." And you're not abandoning him. That's my point.
Okay.
And that would make this the only way it's tolerable for me emotionally.
Mm-hmm. It's real hard.
Yeah.
Candace, I like Dave's idea of the letter. I would add a section in there on what you and your husband have noticed about him, his brightest moments in life, whether it's been on the sporting field or in the classroom or at a science fair.
This is when you're your best.
Yeah, and this is what we see, and you've got all this potential. This teacher said in the 6th grade about you. I would remind him of his tremendous value, and I would also say, hey, we believe that there's a unique role that you were put on this planet to fill, and we will help you get there. But this is an agreement, and whatever else you want to put in there. But I would show a lot of value there and let him see that. And then I think I love Dave's point on checking in.
When he wakes
coffee.
up in his own vomit after partying all night, that letter's laying there.
That's right, and he remembers the value.
Yeah.
He remembers his value.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, real quick, has he ever shared a dream with you for his future?
Yeah, he has I don't know if I necessarily 100% align with it, but
I didn't ask you that.
Dream,
what did he say?
Yeah, his dream is he wants to go into business, in the dispensary business, because in California, marijuana is legal. But he likes the medicinal purposes of it, and so he wants to go into that world, but you have to be 21. So for him, his
actually,
dream
he
is
just
on
wants
hold.
a way to get free pot. That has nothing to do with it.
I'm with you on that.
That's really
one.
what it is.
That's bull.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
That's complete
I'm like,
bull.
I've been encouraging him to, he got offered a job to work as like an activity director for, older elderly people home.
Yeah. Are you guys in a good church?
That.
Candace, are y'all in a good church?
Yeah, I am. My son hit or miss on if he goes.
No, your husband too?
My husband does not go. No.
Okay. I think you all ought to get some people in your corner that are walking this out with you. Because you're going to have idiots say this is tough love, and it's not tough love. It's just love.
All right, today's question comes from Hannah in Florida. I am 21, married, and a new parent to a son. My parents approached me recently about funding their retirement because I, quote, owe them. There's been a lot of damage done in the past, and to be completely honest, I have lost respect for them. Well, no kidding. I'm unsure how to handle this.
Me too, and I just met them.
Yeah. I'm uninviting them to my birthday just on this. I'm
no
unsure
pizza for you, Mom.
how to handle this and where to go with the relationship. I think the famous song says, get that dirt off your shoulder, brush it off and move on. I don't know what to say, man. You don't owe your parents retirement.
God.
Yes, there's clearly been a lot of damage done, and now they're circling back for
round 2, round 7.
Yeah,
round 7, yeah.
At this point, you need to be confident and strong. You've got a new family, and unfortunately, the old saying goes, not by your hand, but in your lap. Somebody put a grenade in your lap, and you got to deal with it. And that means you've got to be the adult in the situation. And
you're 21.
I think there's here's how I approach this, Dave. She gets the opportunity to demonstrate how an adult handles problems. And so it could be easy to say, I'm going to block him, never talk to him again. And what that does is it shoves that problem in a box and throws it in the ocean. But the problem's still there. I think she reaches out, probably in writing, and says, I'm not going to do this. And by the way, me and my husband have talked about boundaries, and here's how we're moving forward. This is so toxic and so gross. I don't even know what to do with it. But it is what it is, and those parents do exist.
Proof you don't have to pass a test to be a parent, right? Because some of you people would flunk. All right, now start again. But wow. Pick up Henry Cloud's book, Boundaries, honey. Because you're going to have to learn to set them, and you're 21 years old.
Yeah.
And it's not fair that this is coming at you. Your parents are weird. You don't owe them a retirement. And what you can do is just lovingly but very strong say, smile, calm, no yelling, no screaming, no cussing. No, we don't owe you a retirement, and no, we're not doing that. What we owe you is to love you, and we do that. We love you, and we cheer for you, and we hope it works out for you good. We hope you do well, and we'll be cheering for you. And, if you're ever hungry, holler, and we'll make you a meal. You can come over and hang out as long as you behave while you're here.
That's right.
But you don't have to cut them out of your life. You don't have to hold them back. Now, I will warn you this. Okay, when people that don't have good boundaries, i.e. your parents, okay, e.g. your parents, people that don't have good boundaries, when you give them boundaries, they generally don't like it.
They flip out.
So do not expect this to go like, oh, darling, I'm sorry, I never thought about it that way. No, these are people that are going to go,
you're ungrateful, we paid for this.
Dadgum travel agent for guilt trips.
That's right.
And that's what they're going to be. So, no, don't expect anything but them to go cray-cray on you.
And just because something is uncomfortable or just because something breaks your heart doesn't mean it's the wrong thing. Expect them to come back and make you sad, to hurt your feelings, to be immature, morons, and you still did the right thing.
Because we kind of have established that they are that.
Wow.
Already.
I'm trying to put myself in a situation where can you imagine calling Rachel and Daniel in? It's, hey guys, listen, me and your mom did some calculations.
Remember that time I bought you diapers? You owe me.
I've done the math. And
remember that time I fed you? You owe me. You remember that time I,
just whatever.
Did whatever for you like a parent would do? Yeah, but you now owe me.
I can't even wrap my head around that conversation.
Yeah, and it's just,
man, I'm sorry that you're going through this, Hannah.
It's heartbreaking, and honey, this is not going to be easy, and it's not going to be over quick. But the answer is you don't owe them, and you have to gently and kindly say, no. All I owe you is to love you, and I will pay that debt.
And she points to it. I know this isn't the first time you've been put in a situation with him. It won't be the last time. That's why Dave's recommendation, that book Boundaries, practice with you and your husband. Y'all come up with some rules of the road for your new family and stick to them, man.
Yeah.
What is a rule of thumb you've experienced over the years telling kids your salary? Because I really like having, especially my 11-year-old down there, watching us do the budget and because I want him to have an understanding. Here's how much electricity costs and water costs and those kind of things. But also just have an innate fear of him running around school saying, hey, what does your parents make? My parents, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I shared all the expenses, but I never shared the income.
Okay.
Until they were 18.
Okay.
Or until they were in college or whatever.
Gotcha.
They knew we were doing okay, kind of thing, but they, I didn't. But we were also trying to protect our kids from the celebrity crap as well.
Right.
Because we were trying to make sure they don't play the Dave card at school to try to get some kind of favor, or something. My dad's Dave Ramsey, that kind of bull crap. And so you just got to step on that with a big foot. And so, truthfully, none of them ever did it much except Rachel.
Yeah. I think my son lies about his last name. No, it's Delaunay. I'm not that guy, right?
Well, yeah. And there's some of that. I mean, because there's two sides to that part, right? I mean,
there's a lot of French guys in Fairview.
Try being in a personal finance class in college, and your dad's name is Dave Ramsey. Yeah, that would be a pain in the butt. So that really happened. Didn't go well. And so, but yeah, there's two.
And I can see Rachel.
Sides.
She won't back down either.
No, and yeah.
Daniel would nod politely. Rachel would say, "Excuse me."
Yeah, Daniel waited till the end of the semester and then told the guy's last name.
Right.
He didn't even get it. The guy didn't even understand how stupid he was. But no, we didn't share incomes, and
but it's protecting an 11-year-old from himself, I think. But
because they just even if something is the truth. You don't want them bragging.
That's right.
You don't want them embarrassing themselves or the family or whatever else. I mean, it's just you don't want them being that kid, like my dad makes so and so, or my mama makes so and so.
Yeah.
That's a gross kid.
But I like that idea of sharing the expenses, making sure they see the expense
they did.
sheet.
I mean, I remember distinctly Rachel and maybe Denise sitting at the kitchen table. And we're going over the electric bill, and Denise goes, "Oh my gosh, it costs so much to buy electricity." And like Rachel looked at her and goes, "I guess that's why they're telling us to close the door all the time,
right, turn the lights off." Right.
It's like, but there was this, no pun intended, light bulb moment that came on, right? And and it's just, but that's really good.
I love those conversations.
And get the mutual fund statement out and go, here's the share price and here's the number of shares in your college fund.
Right.
And so how do you figure out how much money's in your college fund? You multiply those times each other.
I love that.
And it's a little sixth grade math lesson, fourth grade math lesson there.
Yeah, I love it.
Whatever it is to get to that point and work that through. But it's value building. And then you have to constantly correct for them. We squashed out any type of entitlement.
Oh yeah,
stuff like Rachel and I told the story in the Smart Money Smart Kids series in the book and in the teaching series she does in Ramsey Plus. Daniel was a little guy, about 7, 8 years old, and we finally got a decent car after going broke and. We had we're old Southern people, so you get a new car, everybody piles in, you go for a little ride, right? That's like a celebration of buying the new car, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And so Daniel he leans back in the back seat all the way back, and he goes, "We're doing pretty good."
Yes.
And I said, "Honey, we ain't doing anything. You got nothing. You got nothing. I'm doing pretty good. You're just along for the ride, buddy." And so he's like, the kids told that story for years because Daniel's like, okay. I just thought it was like
when I got this latest truck, this fine 06 model, Hank got in it. And he looked at it. He looked at me, based on the old truck I was driving.
Yeah, it's a pretty sizable upgrade.
He said, "Dad, are we rich?"
I said, "Yeah.
Yes, we are, son. Yes, we are.
We have a good used pickup.
That's right.
We are rich."
This truck cost 5 digits.
Whoa.
Not just
not everybody has a 5-digit pickup.
This truck had a 10 in front of the comma. Mm-hmm. Whoa, Dad. That's right, son. Stay close to your old man. He'll get you places.
Oh, my gosh. Well, the thing is, you do want to share. And on the other side, the other thing we run into with kids, how much to discuss, is when things aren't going well.
Right. You don't want to scare them, right? You can terrify kids.
Yeah, you can terrify them. We're going to get foreclosed on and thrown in the street.
Yes.
And that's trauma that they'll carry into their 40s.
Right.
But instead, just go, Mom and Dad got this. It's going to be okay. We're having some bad times, though. And you just keep it where they can digest it. Mm-hmm. And obviously, you can disclose more to a 14-year-old than you can a 4-year-old, at least hypothetically.
Yep.
And
I've learned in those conversations that touch is a huge settling thing for a kid. If I'm having a hard conversation with a young kid, I'm going to sit them on my lap. I'm going to make sure I'm touching their face, touching their hands. And it's a grounding force for a kid. They can hear it and they can see me, right? As opposed to just throwing off a piece of information that I got more context to, and that kid's going to take that and just run with it, right? And they're
so like neural pathways type.
It's just I need them to be grounded and know that I got
But
you.
touch.
I got you. We're here. This is a hard season. This is really tough times, and Dad's working a plan and with Mom, and we're going to figure this out.
Because they can
They can sense it.
They can feel the stress in the air.
And if you don't call it out, they will assume that stress is created by them, and they will spend the rest of their life trying to solve it.
Yeah.
Right? And you got to let them know there is stress in the air. It is not you. In fact, you're the best part of this. And we're
going to make it.
We're having grown-up challenges, and luckily you got grown-up solving them. That's
we're gonna
right.
make it.
That's right.
We're going to make it. That car is not going to be in the driveway anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to make it.
Yeah.
We sold the boat.
Oh, boy.
We're going to make it.
Yeah.
And but you're going to be okay. We're going to have food, and we got each other.
And we're going to go kick a soccer ball out right now.
Yeah, and we'll work it out. But that's you got to be real careful because children deserve to know. Not really.
You can weaponize truth in a way that makes you feel tough and makes you feel back in control. Don't do that to a kid.
Yeah.
Right. Call your buddy and tell him you're scared to death. And that's why you got to have people in your life, right?
Yeah, and but it is good to also the other side of it is to acknowledge it. You need to acknowledge it.
Gotta call it out.
Keeping it completely stuffed, they know something's up and they think it's worse than it is.
Wow, that was something else. Hey, if you enjoyed this one, click here for the next one, where you're going to hear the Ramsey Show hosts react to bad financial advice from social media.
Welcome to Ramsey Solutions Break the Cycle live stream. I'm Dave Ramsey. I've been teaching this personal finance, money stuff for over 30 years, showing people how to get out of debt so that they can build wealth, change their family tree, and be outrageously generous in the process. We take calls on our show, The Ramsey Show, which is a podcast, a YouTube show, and a radio show. Now 1 billion downloads on the podcast, number 1 on Apple last month. We're the second largest talk radio show in America, just to give you an idea of the scope, and millions and millions and millions of you on YouTube. Thank you. In the process of doing that, we talk to you. Also, Ramsey Solutions has a whole research arm, and we talk to you. We know what's on your mind. It's kind of scary out there right now. When we talk to folks, we find out that most of you are uncertain. Some of you are apathetic. Some of you have given up. Some of you are working your tail off and you can't seem to get ahead. You've got the rat in the wheel syndrome going. Some people are just plain panicked. So what does 2024 really hold? We got a crazy economy. We got inflation all over the place. We've got elections. I'd talk about nuts. And man, on top of that, we got a high interest rate environment. Well, tonight, we're going to address head on this uncertainty and the hopelessness that goes with it for a lot of folks. In the last quarter, all of last fall, we started doing webinars on money and helping people with their budgets. In the process of doing that, we surveyed a bunch of you. We asked you 3 questions. What best describes your money situation? 80% of those surveyed said they were in the messy middle or in crisis. The messy middle is starts and stops, falls off the wagon, can't seem to get traction, just a sense of chaos. Crisis is we're on the edge of the cliff or the car is going over the cliff. I mean, we're facing foreclosure or repossession or might any moment. The second question we asked everybody was, what are the emotions you feel when it comes to money? 3 emotions popped up most often. Fear. Folks are afraid. Shame and guilt. This sense that I've done something wrong. Guilt that I don't have my act together. It seems like everyone else is Ken and Barbie. Everyone else has their act together, but not at our house. Fear, shame, and guilt. The last question we asked was, how long have you been living in this messy middle, this crisis with fear, shame, and guilt? This is the saddest answer of all. Most people answering that question, tens of thousands of people we talk to, say, most of my adult life. That means folks are stuck. And that's why we're having this conversation tonight. Don't get stuck in a cycle. Break the cycle. It turns out stupid has a gravitational pull. You can get locked into the orbit around stupid. And how do you bust an orbit? Well, you got to expend energy to pull away from the gravitational pull that you've never expended before. And that's what we're going to help you do tonight. Now, some folks try to do that with stuff like New Year's resolutions. Well, it's January 11th, and most of you already blown those. That's a joke. Instead, what we've found is you have to make a decision to change. Not a one-time decision, a permanent behavior shift. Back during the Fauci pandemic, like everybody else, I was facing a lot of stress, and we were trying to run our business and going crazy, and I ate every donut in a 50-mile radius, everything I could eat, and I got just plain fat. And I looked in the mirror, I thought, this is ridiculous. I've got to stop stress eating, or I'm just gonna explode like a Willy Wonka character or something, right? So I've got to stop this. And so, okay, we're gonna start watching our intake, and we're gonna change our physical activity. So I started doing that, and I put it on an app, and my little app says that 1,371 days consecutively, I have walked or ran 1 to 5 miles every single day, except for 3 days in September of 2020 when I had some kind of mystery disease and I was in the bed. I don't know what it was. So, but other than that, every morning, rain or shine, I'm out there. Because if you don't change your behaviors, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. You got to have a new habit, walking, running. I got to change something. I got to change what I'm putting into my face all the time. Now, I still got a ways to go. I'm not like in runner shape or something, but I'm 37 pounds down because of that 1,371 days of a permanent behavior change, because I am now a person that walks every morning. 30 years of helping people get out of debt and build wealth. Personal finance is very similar. It's 80% behavior and 20% head knowledge. It turns out that the mathematics of wealth building is about the 6th grade level. You can do it. But we got to change our behaviors, and we got to change our beliefs to change our behaviors. So my question is, what's keeping you stuck? What's kept you in survival mode for so long, for so many years? I mean, possibly even decades. My whole adult life is how people answer the question. Cycles repeat and reinforce. And the only way to break a cycle is to start a new cycle, to start a new behavior to replace the old behavior. Now, over the next hour, you're going to hear from Ramsey personalities who will teach from all kinds of different angles. Tonight, you're also going to see a hands-on demonstration of the world's best budgeting app, Ours, Every Dollar. We're going to walk you through how to put that together. And we're going to give away $10,000 cash, 10 winners of $1,000 to get you started, to get you moving in the right direction. So hang with us through the whole time to see if you're one of the winners. First, we want to hear from Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, mental health expert, 2 PhDs. The Dr. John Deloney Show on podcast is an absolute blowout. It's a huge success. His last 2 books have been #1 hits, including his latest one last fall, Building a Non-Anxious Life. Stress cycles devastate every area of our lives, not just our bank accounts. All right, John, take it away.
Hey, thanks, Dave. Hey, listen, good folks, you made it. You made it, 2024. Every New Year's, for my friends that are watching this, y'all know, I overdo it. I'm so optimistic about New Year's. My friends make fun of me. And this year feels different. I was talking to my wife recently. I'm not feeling the optimism this year. And everybody I talk to all over the country, they're feeling it too. Everybody's got a pit in their stomach. Things don't feel right. And we can talk about it all, like Dave was talking about, from politics to the wars going on overseas, from the fact that Taylor Swift finally put some no-name football player named Travis on the map, right? But tonight, we're going to talk about money. Between inflation, the housing market, cost of living, student loans, all of it, it's just expensive to breathe in 2024. And the money stress is real. You can't sleep. And you're snapping at your kids. You're just distant from somebody that you love, right? Everybody's anxious. Everybody wants to stop the panic attacks. Everybody just wants to go to sleep. Everybody thinks they're broken. You think you're broken. And I want to propose something you may have never considered before. I think your body's working perfectly. The discomfort and the anxiety you feel is your body's way of getting your attention and letting you know you're not safe. If your credit cards are maxed and you have no savings, if you did some napkin math and you're going to be paying off your student loans for the next 41 years, or if you can't afford to pay for a flat tire, Your body would be failing you if it let you rest and relax, if it let you sleep, if it let you goof off with your friends or have a deep, connected, intimate moment with a romantic partner. Your body's just doing its job. The problem is we've created a life and a financial reality that our bodies were never designed to live in. And this isn't just sciencey nerd stuff. I know about money anxiety because I have lived it. And on the Ramsey Show, I talk about mental health and marriage and relationships. I get it. I usually don't talk about my personal finance challenges. This is a vulnerable side of me, if you will. But I want to give you a picture of what this looks like on the other side. My wife and I didn't come from much. My dad was a minister and a police officer. My wife's parents were teachers, and they all worked really, really hard. When we got married, I wanted us to have no money stress. I wanted me and my wife to have no money stress. I want you to hear me say that. And I tried to solve it by earning a lot and borrowing a lot. We took out massive student loans to get degrees that would land us fancy jobs with fancy titles. We bought a house that we couldn't afford. We had cars that we couldn't afford. And I remember my wife being asleep. And I remember my kid being asleep. And I remember being wide awake. And I couldn't exhale. And I remember the shame because I had all the answer. I had all these graduate degrees. I was responsible for millions of dollars in my job. And I couldn't keep my household budget together. And I remember the guilt. I kept buying things all the time, spending money I didn't have, robbing Peter to pay Paul. My marriage suffered, my parenting suffered, my work suffered. And hear me out. My story is your story. We're in this together. I'm you and you're me. I know how it feels. And it doesn't have to be like this. Yes, sometimes I still get scared. I still feel guilty sometimes. Shame still hovers around, but I'm not anxious anymore. I don't have panic attacks anymore. I'm not at war with my body anymore. Now I often fall asleep way before my wife does. I want you to know the non-anxious life, this peace inside of all this chaos, it's possible for you too, I promise. If you want to break the cycle of anxiety and money in your life, I want to offer you two important benchmarks, two important ideas. Number one, you must choose reality. You've got to face your particular situation, wherever you happen to be. You've been told your whole life, if you follow the one normal path, everything's going to be all right. And you did it. You took out the loans, you got the job, you got the degree, you moved to the city to follow your passion, and now you're here, and it's not working. The math in your fantasy is not adding up. And yes, can we just call this what it is? It was easier for your parents and grandparents to buy a house. That was their reality. The market's different now. And yes, it used to be easier for families to live on a single income. Yes, it used to be easier to go down the street and get a job at the local mill without a degree. Or yes, you want to be a fiction editor and live in downtown Manhattan. And yes, you want to own an organic farm outside of Orange County. Or you just want to get a general admission ticket to see Taylor Swift like my friend George Camel is dying to do. It all feels so impossible. The world got really expensive. For the time being, it's not going to change. And becoming angry and resentful and railing against the system is like being super mad that it's hot in Arizona. It's not going to change the weather. It's just chafing against reality. The question isn't what clever post you can put up on Twitter, or how angry can you possibly be, or who's just the right person to vote for. The question is, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do now? Choosing reality is about owning how life and the world truly is, not stomping around and complaining about how you wish it would be. Own it. This is how much you owe. This is what it actually costs to live in this city. This is what our life actually is. This is what it will cost to safely buy a home. This is how much this job actually pays, period. This is our country. Of course, you want new cars and kids in the right schools and vacations and just a home. I get it. And there's a snake on every corner that's going to loan you the money to get those things right now, even though you can't afford them. Choosing reality is not about getting the best interest rate or about your credit score. Choosing reality is about being honest about who owns you. All right, second thought. If you want to break the money anxiety cycle, you must choose freedom. And when I say choose freedom, I'm not talking about putting on an American flag underwear and running around your neighborhood. I'm talking about choosing freedom is not owing anyone anything, ever. And yes, I'm talking about living debt-free. And I know you're like, oh, did Dave Ramsey pay you to say that? Because actually, yes, he's paying me right now to say that. But listen, I'm telling you that the data confirms what Dave has taught for over 30 years. If your body knows that you owe money, if your body knows, your nervous system knows that you're not deciding what you do tomorrow, the bank is, your abusive boss is, the mortgage company is. If your body knows you owe money, it will sound the anxiety alarms. And as I said earlier, my wife and I, we didn't come from a lot. We got married. I thought freedom was new cars, a big house, a whole bunch of graduate degrees. I couldn't afford those things growing up, and by God, I was going to have them. And we found ourselves locked up in some really fancy looking chains. We decided to choose freedom. We sold our house. We moved into a dorm apartment at a university campus with 175 college kids that were amazing, but the smells were something to behold. But we were relentless. And now, years later, we're free. And I remember that last payment, and I could finally exhale. My body let me breathe. My body let me sleep. It let me connect with people in a deeper way. And only then could I really, truly start working on being a better husband and a better dad, and actually start asking, what kind of job do I want to do? What kind of life do I want to craft for me and my family? What kind of job do I not have to do anymore? You don't get out of debt just to get out of debt. You get out of debt to have an extraordinary, generous life. This is freedom. Since joining Ramsey, I've had best-selling books, a hit show. I'm on the Ramsey show. My finances look very different right now than they did growing up. They do. Recently, I decided to get a new car. And as a former Texan who's always compensating for something, I was planning to get a massive, giant truck with cash. And I waltzed up to the dealership and I was like, listen here, show me your biggest trucks. And when it was all said and done, I bought a hybrid Highlander. A Highlander. The least tough guy car in the world. It's good for hauling groceries and soccer balls and the spare running shoe. I wanted a Tundra so bad and I had the cash for it, but it wasn't right for me and my family right now. So I got an amazing, reliable car. And it's not gonna impress any of my hunting buddies, but my wife likes me, my kids like me, so I don't care. This is freedom. Now listen, that may not be what freedom looks like for you when it comes to cars. Jade Warshaw, she has an amazing Cadillac. Rachel Cruz has an awesome Tesla. George Camel also has a Tesla, right? And for Rachel and George, Tesla's battery-powered cars, that's what freedom looks like. Except for, hey, real quick, check this out. See this? See this? See that? You know who that is? That's me. That's me pushing George Camel's Tesla down the highway because he forgot to put AA batteries or whatever you have to put in those things to make them run or whatever. But maybe freedom for you is having a car that your buddy will push down the highway for you. Me and George are just going to a punk rock show. Is there anything less punk rock than two dudes in a Tesla that won't run? Listen, freedom is what you and your family decide it is. But it's not about buying stuff. It's about creating a relationship with money and with purchases that prioritizes peace. You can drive a Corolla and have an extraordinary life. And I know this because I've done it. Imagine this with me. What would it feel like to not owe anyone anything? Air conditioner goes out, ugh, that's annoying. It's not catastrophic. The price of meat and eggs skyrockets again. It's not something to weep about. It's just something to complain about. Your abusive boss crosses that line and you just smile. Bye, Felicia, I'm out. I'm leaving. This is freedom. This is peace. And listen, you are worth this freedom. You're worth being well And this life is not a pipe dream. It's possible for you. And it took me and my wife years, but it's possible to choose reality, to choose freedom, to do the hard work, and it will be hard. But you're worth it. And we'll be cheering you on every step of the way. And to keep us rolling, I'm going to welcome back a man who only drives gas-powered vehicles, Dave Ramsey.
No batteries for me, John. That's right. Hey, you can see why John's show is so popular and why things are going so well for him. This latest book, Building a Non-Anxious Life, another #1 bestseller. Up next is George Kamel. George's new book is Breaking Free from Broke. It releases next week on January 16th. You can still get it with pre-order goodies on our website right now. George has got the George Kamel YouTube show, which is the fastest growing YouTube show in the history of Ramsey Networks. It's just going meteoric. It's crazy how many of you are watching it. Thank you. He is the king of snark. We had to put a special font in this book, the snark font. If you've never heard of it, you'll have to embrace it. It's pretty fun. So this guy is an incredible communicator, going to help you with some of the villains out there. Take it away, George.
Thanks, Dave. I feel like I have to clear the air after Deloney just threw me under the electric bus. So here's what actually happened. What he didn't share was that the reason my car died was because I had to pick him up from his house, which apparently is in Narnia, because he somehow didn't have a single key for any of their family's 17 cars. I mean, this guy lives so far off the grid, anxiety can't even find him on Google Maps. I'm not even sure he technically lives in America, okay? And speaking of America, y'all, Dave showed you some really sad stats. America has become land of the free and home of the broke. That's the tweet, for real. Elon, if you're watching, I refuse to call it an X or X's or whatever you want to call it. I'm not doing it. I don't care how much money you spent. Yo, it is so wild to me that we live in the most advanced society with so much opportunity, and yet we have more stress and less money than ever before. Make it make sense. And if you've talked to people lately, or God forbid, been in a comment section, here's the new mantra for the American people. The little man can't get ahead. That's the vibe I get looking at the comments. And as a man of below average stature, I take moderate offense to it. But I get it, right? Maybe you relate to that. You're not where you want to be financially, and it feels like another difficult year where you're not going to get ahead with money, you're not going to make progress. And the data confirms this. Ramsey Research uncovered some sobering stats in our recent State of Personal Finance report. Get this, 1 in 4 people said they rely on credit cards to make ends meet. They got nothing in the bank and they're hoping Capital One's going to save the day. 50% of people said they struggle to pay their rent. 38% said, I struggle to pay my mortgage. Scary. And get this one, nearly 4 in 10 people have $0 in savings. Y'all, one emergency away from their life imploding. And here's what that leads to. Half of Americans said they worry about personal finances daily. Every day they wake up, that same lump in the throat, that pit in the stomach, they get in their car, they go to the job they hate, just hoping to cover the bills. This is no way to live. That's bleak stuff. And maybe some of those stats hit close to home for you. Now, there's a whole bunch of reasons for this that we could get into, and in fact, let's do it, because I think it's kind of fun to point some fingers. I mean, we could blame inflation, which has had its largest increase in 40 years. We could blame the housing market, with home values rising almost 50% over the past decade. We could blame the cost of higher education. College tuition's out of control. It's increased by almost 400% since the 1980s. And of course, we could blame the Fed for raising interest rates, making debt more expensive and more crippling than ever. And we can't leave out the president, whatever old white man or middle-aged woman is elected in 2024, and for whatever reason you think they're going to ruin everything. You could blame Congress, who can't balance a budget to save their lives. And finally, we can't leave out the elder generations, like the baby boomers, who yell at us youngsters to get off their lawns from the comfort of a home they paid $30,000 and a bushel of raspberries for back in 1973. Gary's gonna Gary. It's just how he is. And boomers, while we're on it, we love you, but please turn the flashlight off on your smartphone. Yes, it is on right now, and I know you didn't mean to. All right, that was a lot. And all of that, honestly, was a little cathartic. I understand why people complain now. It feels really good. But where do you fit into all this mess? Because so far, it sounds like it's everyone else's problem to fix. So how did we get here, and what do we do? Well, I've got a theory for how we got here. It all started when you were a wee little lad or lass. You were never taught financial literacy in school, so you had no clue how money worked. But But hey, at least you remember what year the War of 1812 happened, right? And to make matters worse, you probably grew up in a home where money wasn't talked about, or when it was talked about, it was stressful and there was money fights. And what did our parents tell us? College is a necessary path to upward mobility, so it's okay to take out student loans. It's an investment. It's good debt. So you financed your way through college with Sally Mae's Monopoly money, and you had no clue how big the payments would be after graduation or how the interest worked. And then while on campus, what happens? The sales rep lures you into your first credit card in exchange for a t-shirt and a freaking pizza, because you got to build your credit score somehow, right? This is the gateway drug to a worse life. And of course, you tell yourself, I'll pay the card off every month and I'll get the rewards. I'll be winning. I'll beat the system. And then life happens and you couldn't pay it off in full, and it triggered insane interest rates. And after graduation, you didn't start out making this amazing six-figure dream job that you hoped you would. And as a young professional, you're like, well, it's time to upgrade the car. So what do? Before you know it, you're tied to a car payment that lasted longer than your first job and much longer than your last relationship. And I know she said it wasn't you, but it was you, Brad. It was you. So you were told renting is a massive waste of money after that, right? Your parents are like, you got to buy a house, you got to buy a house. And you watch too much Joanna Gaines and you too much Zilloing, and the bank is going to loan you way more than should be legal. And so what happens? You're chained to 30 years of payments on a house that you're going to be sick of in about 5. And all of these decisions leave you financially tapped, trapped, strapped, capped, and zapped. Y'all, this is the most depressing Dr. Seuss book of all time. You were promised the American dream, and you were delivered the American nightmare. And that should make you angry. They told you it would be the land of milk and honey if you just follow this path. This is the way everyone needs to go. And instead of milk and honey, you got soy milk and Splenda. It's disgusting. I know the Splenda, they're very aggressive fan base out there. But, you know, the millennials, we've moved on to agave. And you have to say it like that to be as pretentious and annoying as possible. So at this point, y'all, we got 2 choices here. We can throw our hands up in the air like we just don't care because you've given up, and we're going to rely on the government to fix our problems, or you can decide to buck the system, to rise above it, because you know now the system is designed to screw you over and keep you reliant on debt and stress. I mean that. Think about this. The entire financial system, the credit score, credit cards, student loans, auto loans, they're designed to keep you paycheck to paycheck and really just steal your income. Debt is a thief, y'all. And in my new book, Breaking Free from Broke, I unpack all of these industries with lots of humor and lots of research to expose the system for what it really is and show you a better way, a way to live with more peace and less stress and more money. But here's the deal. You have to believe this. It's not all your fault, but it's your responsibility. It's not all your fault, but it's your responsibility. And the good news is the one factor you control in this whole mess is you. And I believe in that guy. I believe in that girl. And specifically, the way you handle your money. And in just a few minutes, my friends Rachel Cruz and Jade Warshaw, they're going to be out here showing you exactly how to do that, very tactically. And my friend John just talked about the importance of choosing reality. And it reminds me of the iconic scene in the 1999 sci-fi action movie, The Matrix. Now, spoiler ahead, but honestly, if you haven't seen The Matrix by now, were you really ever going to watch it? It's been 25 years, man. So Morpheus in the movie is rocking his signature shades, his trench coat. He's just blown everyone's minds by revealing that what we thought was real life is actually a simulation cooked up by some power-hungry robots. So Morpheus offers Neo, the hero, a choice between the red pill and the blue pill. The red pill reveals the truth about the Matrix, keeping Neo trapped. And the blue pill lets Neo continue his life in this not-so-blissful ignorance. And Neo, being the hero that he is, he chooses the red pill and he's awakened to the real world. And y'all, you have a similar choice when it comes to money and for your future. The brutal truth is you were lied to, and I'm sorry. It sucks. And I hate that you're frustrated and you're anxious and you're feeling out of control. And it reminds me of this quote from Joe Kloss. The truth will set you free, but first, it will piss you off. Social media feeds, slick marketing, well-meaning family members, misguided guidance counselors, and of course, the guy in the mirror. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. They've all lied to you. And worse, they've stolen your paycheck and they've stolen your joy. They've stolen your margin, and it's enough. We've had enough. If you're riled up and you're ready to fight back, good. I'm happy for you, because that means you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. You worked too hard to feel this broke. You've had your I've had it moment, and you're drawing a line in the sand. You're going to start doing something about it instead of just complaining about it. That's what happened to me. A little over 10 years ago, I just opted out. I chose the red pill. I was sick of being screwed over, and I followed a different plan called the Ramsey Baby Steps. I went through Financial Peace University. I got on an every dollar budget. And in less than 10 years, I went from flat broke, $40,000 in debt, to net worth millionaire. That boggles my mind. And now for the past decade, I've been bucking the system, doing money differently. No credit score, no credit card, no debt, just living a life of peace and freedom. This isn't wishful thinking or pie-in-the-sky optimism. I didn't make $1 million in Dogecoin or from Dave Coin. I didn't get a big inheritance from a long-lost rich uncle or have a secret trust fund. I decided to carve a new path with a new mindset and new habits. And that's really unsexy and boring. I want to talk about money so we can stop talking about money. Because get this, when money's no longer an obstacle, we can focus on what really matters and become the people we really want to be. And money then becomes a tool to help you live a life that you're proud of instead of exhausted by. And it gives you more margin, more options, more joy, and more wealth than ever before. And you guys can start that journey tonight. And I wouldn't be here on this journey if it weren't for one man, and that man is Dave Ramsey, and he's going to keep this party going. Here's Dave.
Wow, way to go, George. You guys can see why George and his YouTube program and his appearances on stage and on The Ramsey Show is so popular, and why this book is going to be a #1. Very, very proud of you, George. So the next step after breaking free from the system is to create a new reality with our new habits. And our next speaker is going to talk to you about new habits and also talk about community, which is absolutely important. She's a multiple #1 best-selling author, including a New York Times best-selling author, and her most recent book, a children's book, also hit #1. I'm glad for what I have. My own daughter, Rachel Cruz. Take it away, Rachel.
So some of you guys are here tonight and you're doing great, right? Maybe you've been following Ramsey for a while and you're like, yeah, I'm going to sign up and just be encouraged. But there's a good chance that there's a lot of you guys that are here because you want help. You look at your money situation today and you think, gosh, I'm just not happy with the result. I don't like where I am financially. So when you get to that point in your life, you have to realize, okay, if I'm not happy with where I am today, then I have to change what I've been doing. The habits that have gotten me where I am have to change. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you know this. Guys, change is hard. Change is uncomfortable. When you look at something different in life and you look at it in a new way, it's kind of weird because you think, oh my gosh, is that really how that works? Or if you actually go through an action differently than how you have in the past, it feels weird because it's new. So if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know that when it comes to working out, I've not been the most consistent. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with it. And I actually kind of famously tried to train for a marathon, half marathon. And I quit on the first long run. And I was like, this is terrible. This is like torture. Why would anyone do this? But I can say I'm very proud of myself, you guys, that not just because of a New Year's resolution, but back in August, I started working out again. And I was like, okay, I'm done having babies. I have 3 little kids. And I'm like, I just want to feel strong and feel good. So I'm going to start working out. And if you've ever not worked out and then worked out and you wake up the next day, oh my gosh. I woke up, I got out of bed, I was like, I can't move. Like I literally can't move. I mean, you try to get dressed and every part of you hurts. Every part of you hurts. This is probably TMI, but it's just the truth. I remember trying to go to the bathroom that morning and I was like, I can barely even sit down. It's terrible. It's terrible. But what I learned is when you do that and you're sore, it's actually your muscles tearing, which is kind of disgusting, but that's what it is. And so that's why you want to eat and drink protein and put good things in your body, because then your muscles grow and they build and you continue on and you become strong. And that's what happens. So in the same way, building new habits, you guys, you're going to feel a little bit, hopefully not the physical pain, but you're going to feel a level of pain because it's going to be different and it's going to kind of hurt. But here's the deal. When you do this over and over again, you start a new habit. It becomes a new part of who you are. A lot of you have probably read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. And I love this quote because it's a different mindset when you look at this. He says, the ultimate form of intrinsic motivation is when a habit becomes a part of your identity. It's one thing to say, I'm the type of person who wants this. It's a very different thing to say, I'm the type of person who is this. So when you look at your money, you guys take on a new identity, okay? actually say, man, what are ways for me to break this cycle? If I'm in a paycheck to paycheck cycle, what can I do? Well, a very obvious one, and one that we're here at Ramsey that we always teach, is get out of debt, right? When you don't have debt payments. If your car loan wasn't leaving and credit card bills weren't leaving and your student loan payment wasn't leaving, how much money would you have? It's incredible. But you have to say to yourself, I'm a person that doesn't take on debt anymore. That's who I am. You take on a new identity. Even giving. Instead of saying, yeah, I want to give some money. No. You are a person who gives. You take on that identity. Saving and investing is the same thing. I am a person who delays gratification and plans for the future. That is who I am. Contentment, I am somebody that does not have to keep up with everybody else around me. I am running my own race. Even budgeting, I am someone who budgets. That is who I am. And so these habits really start to form into your identity and who you are, you guys, and it is so crucial. And one of those habits that is so key to breaking the cycle, especially the paycheck to paycheck cycle, it is budgeting. But we're not going to just talk about it. We're actually going to show you how. So to help me with a live demo, I want to welcome to the stage Jade Warshaw, my friend, Ramsey personality.
What's going on, Rachel?
Hi, Jade. Okay, so we're talking about this idea of breaking the cycle.
That's
and we really want to break the paycheck to paycheck cycle. And let's define that. What does that even mean? That means you have no savings, you have no cushion in your checking account, you have no margin. So if you miss a paycheck, literally don't have your next paycheck, you're in a position that you're like, I can't even pay my bills. I can't do anything.
Absolutely. Look, at the end of the day, if all you're doing is eating, you pay your bills, and you have no money left to do the things that honestly make you a financially responsible adult, right? Yeah. You can't save money. You're not investing money. Forget saving for kids' college, right? That is the definition, Rachel, of paycheck to paycheck.
That's right. So we want you to live on purpose. And again, most people are not living on a budget, but we're going to walk through this. And if you are somebody that maybe you have the Every Dollar app and you're using you're using our stuff and you're doing fantastic, that's amazing. But if you're not, let me just tell you, when you build out your first budget, there's kind of two camps of people that we find. Some people, they do it and then they realize, okay, wow, well, if I just cut this one category, we're good. Okay. And then there's another group of people, probably majority of people, that when you get to it, you see, wow, we're in the red, deeply in the red, and I don't know what to do. So that's why Jade and I are here, because we really want to walk through and show you how you can do this so well.
That's right. So when we talk about budgeting, there are some blockers. Like, I could feel it through the camera that some people have objections. Yeah. They're like, Jade, a budget? Listen, I've got too much to do already. My kids, the math, like, I hate doing math. If you're talking about writing down numbers, others of you are like, listen, if you knew my spouse, you would know there's no way they're sticking to a budget. Or possibly you've tried a budget before and it just didn't work for you. Here's the thing, you were probably doing it wrong. So we're gonna teach you the right way. And the good news is Every Dollar, which is the best budgeting app there is going to make it so super easy for you. We're gonna overcome every single one of those objections tonight. And we're gonna show you how to build your Every Dollar budget in 5 minutes, Rachel.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I mean, doing this through Every Dollar, you guys, it is so easy. It does the math for you and it's wonderful. So what we want you to do is to click the link in the description, and that is where you're gonna build your first budget, you guys. You're gonna do it online. And then later on through that, because we have deals, we have promotions through that website, we want you to go to that link first and foremost. Then you'll build your budget there, and then you'll use the Every Dollar app. And Jade, usually I have my phone on me, but we're doing an event,
That's
so
right.
I'm being professional.
That's
I don't have my phone. But what's great about the app, you guys, is it's on your phone. We're all attached to our phones, and so it goes with you in life, which is what we want. This is a thing that is gonna be part of your daily habits, and so it's so key to have it convenient where it is, which is what we love. And so again, build your budget there at the link, but what we're gonna show you is the mobile version, so you can kind of see what you're gonna be doing. And our friend Bobby, he's somewhere out there, he's gonna help us fill in some numbers. So let's go straight to this budget. So here's an Every Dollar budget. Now when you do this, you guys, you want a zero-based budget, which means your income minus your expenses equals zero. So as you see, Bobby is first filling out the income here, and then all the way down, Jade, are all these expenses, and Every Dollar will have line items in the budget for you, so you can say, oh yeah, that's great, I didn't think about this, and it's really there to help you. But there's gonna be some line items that are there that you don't need, so you can delete those. And there's some that you're gonna add. You're probably gonna add a lot.
Right.
That's how we are. We add a lot of line items in our budget, which is so helpful. So again, as we're going through, he's just filling out all of these numbers.
And the truth is, especially if you have a spouse, probably one of you is gonna take the lead on building the budget for the first time.
Yeah.
And as the months go on, but the key is, once you've kind of got it started, you need to get with your spouse and sit together and truly decide on those end amounts so that it's not like, I've done this budget, here, follow it. This is the money you get. You do not want that energy in the house, so make sure you're deciding on the numbers together.
And Jade, a great way to find the numbers if you don't know is go back to your checking account the last month or two, kind of just average out, hey, here's what we're spending on food, here's what our electric bill is.
Good.
But know that those numbers are you not budgeting, okay? So they might be a little inflated. So remember, you may be able to shrink some of those down because with a budget, you're living on purpose.
So true, yeah. And I always say a good budget, if you're doing it right, it should be detailed, realistic, and flexible. So when I talk about detailed, that's literally the line items. So you're gonna see things on there that are preset. You can change, you can add more things. The more that you add, anything you can think of that you might spend money on, you need to include it in the budget. That's being detailed. Realistic. Rachel, yesterday's prices, they're not today's prices. We all feel it. Listen, groceries are more expensive, gas is more expensive. Make sure you're being realistic with these dollar amounts. If you're a family of 4, you're probably gonna need more than $150 for groceries.
I know,
right?
We find people all the time, they get really excited about this, you guys. They're like, oh yeah, we'll eat for $50 a month. And we're like, no, because then it's gonna mess up your budget.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna work because it's not realistic.
And you feel like you failed. So just be realistic and you're gonna learn. It takes most people, several months to really get it locked in.
That's right.
That's okay.
Yep.
And then finally, just be flexible. This is living and breathing with you, right? It's going with your lifestyle. I am voted most likely to go over the budget in our household. And I receive that. But if I go over a little bit in groceries, maybe I can take a little from takeout, to balance it out. And so that's the idea. However, never take from a category that's really important, like saving or paying off debt in order to balance the budget.
That's right. And just as you guys are watching this, just don't get hung up on these specific numbers. We kind of took an average income of an American and these average numbers. So these are an example, right? You're going to plug in your numbers. And the other great thing is, Jade, with people, you're the adult. Like you're doing this, you get to decide your numbers. Your budget is there to work for your life, okay? That's what's really key here. So as you can see, we ended here with debt, and it's always a little bit sad to see, okay, all these payments coming out that if you didn't have those payments, if you're getting out of debt, and once you are debt-free, all of that will stay in your checking account, which is awesome. But here we are, we're $325 over budget. So when you're over budget, there's really 2 ways that you can look at this. You can cut expenses and you can up income. So when you cut expenses, Bobby, let's go up to maybe restaurants, which kind of hurts, but when you're in debt, you're going to be cutting a bunch of stuff, you guys.
That hurts, Rachel.
It does hurt. I love it. It does hurt. But what's crazy too, Jade, is we do these webinars. We've done $every webinars with maybe some of you have been with us, but thousands of you. And there was someone recently that said that they cut all their subscriptions and they saved $500 a month.
That's crazy.
On cutting subscriptions. It's unbelievable. And then we talk to people that get side hustles, Jade, and they're making $1,000, $1,200. I mean, it's wild what people are making. So even up at the income, you can be able to see, okay, where we can maybe add some money?
Absolutely. Some of you, you're looking at this and you're like, listen, I have already gone down to a bare bones budget. There's nothing else that I can cut out. If that's you, you probably need to look at bringing in more income. And that might look like a side hustle or raising your income in another way. But most of us, if we went out and drove Uber, did Instacart, you could probably bring in, at the bare minimum, an extra $500 a month. So Bobby, let's add $500 a month there and just see how it changes the number up top. So he adds the $500 and it's loading. Oh, there we go. We have extra money to spend on
$175
whatever
right there.
We choose.
Yeah, which is amazing. Now with $every Premium, which again, we're doing a great deal, you guys, tonight here on the $every app for $every Premium. Click the link and make sure that you build out that first budget. You sign up through that link, build up that first budget on desktop. Then you can download this app and use it day to day. But what you're gonna see are features that are amazing. We've heard you. We know what you want. And Jade, one of the best features, I think.
Come on.
Oh, it's paycheck planning.
Yes.
You guys, you've been asking. We hear you. We got you.
I love paycheck planning. Here's why, because I'm sure I'm not the only person in this boat. How many of you have done a budget and you're like, yes, I am adulting, and you've planned for everything. You're like, grandma's birthday, I thought of everything. And then when the time comes to buy grandma's gift, there's no money in the account. It's so frustrating. Or worse yet, you overdraw the account. You're like, what is happening? I've been budgeting. Somebody help me. The problem is you're not planning when to spend your money, okay? A good budget tells your money where to go, but an even better budget tells your money when to go, and that's what we're doing here with paycheck planning. So, Bobby, let's take a look at what paycheck planning looks like, because this is honestly my favorite feature of Every Dollar Premium. So, with paycheck planning, essentially what you're doing is you're going in and you're able to plan out each day that you're gonna spend your money. So this person happens to get paid on January 5th. All right, so we need to decide what we can spend money on between this paycheck and the next paycheck, right? So she's got gas, groceries, electricity, miscellaneous. Everything's looking good until we get down here to mortgage and rent. Oh my gosh, she's going over. There's not enough money. There won't be enough money to cover it. So what we can do here is go, okay, how can we rearrange this? Most of us have kind of chunk items on our budget, things like groceries, right? She's got $500 for groceries. She's not gonna spend that all in one shot. So what I would do is I'd go in here, click it, and let's spread it out and make it more realistic. Most people go shopping once a week, so let's put it on Fridays, $125 each week. Perfect.
Spreads it out.
Spreads it out. Now it's not such a weight on her paycheck. And we look down here and it's already looking better. Now she's only got, well, did we clear it up? Oh, she's only got one thing that's in the red. So the next thing I'd look at is, okay, let's look at this car payment. It comes out on the 9th. Maybe your car payment when it comes out is not convenient for you. Get on the phone and call these people and say, listen, is there any way I can move my car payment? Let's move it to the 23rd. My guess is they're going to say yes, because at the end of the day, they just want your money. They don't care when they get it. They just want it.
And a lot of people will be flexible with these payments. So ask,
And so now we've moved that, and look, it's going to change in a minute. This is going to change from high risk to low risk. But if you scroll down, you'll see that she's no longer at the risk of overspending. And so that's how paycheck planning works. It's kind of like a fun puzzle that you get to decide how you spend your money.
Yep, it's awesome. And another great feature that we have too, you guys, it takes 90 seconds, but it's to track your transactions. So what you're gonna do is on your phone, you're gonna touch that, you're gonna click that transaction button, and then you're gonna go through and Every Dollar Premium is attached to your bank account. So all of your transactions drop into the Every Dollar app, which is amazing.
Love
that.
And
so you'll see Buc-ee's, which, little piece of heaven on earth. We love Buc-ee's.
Listen, I'm a Wawa girl. All right.
Oh, Shane, you gotta go to Buc-ee's. Okay, so Buc-ee's will put in transportation there and gas. You have Publix. We'll drop that in groceries down below a little bit. And then, what was next? Oh, nail spa.
Always. If you're not
Always,
planning, come
ladies.
On, plan for the nails.
Always, yep. So
Don't
we'll
forget
put
about
that in, the cosmetics area that I think we do have. Oh no, there may be a connection issue, it said. And then last but not least, okay, so you're gonna have things like Amazon that drop in. So this is where you have to be a little bit more detailed, because what's hard with Amazon, I don't know if this is how you are, Jade.
Yes.
But we'll get an Amazon transaction, but I bought a book and hangers and I don't know, fill in the blank. And so it all is in all these different categories.
That's right.
So you can actually split the transaction.
So important, because you want your grocery budget to be for groceries and you want your clothing for clothing. So let's go through here. We could split it. Let's put some of it on groceries, put some of it on clothing. Let's see, and it's easy to search up top. So if you're looking for that category, you can select it and put whatever amount goes in that category. And then you can come down and say, okay, also I had clothing as part of that purchase. And that way you're really being accurate about how you're tracking your transactions. Because Rachel, if you're like me, I like to know, I want to know what I'm spending my money on. And this is going to give you an accurate picture of how you're actually spending your money.
Yeah, and let me just speak a little bit to the nerds out there, or maybe this is for the free spirits. You don't have to do every little cent, okay? So if it's the hangers were $12,
wait a minute, Rachel. I'm just kidding.
I know. So just make it easy on yourself. You can make it quick. It's the idea that, again, you're following your life and your spending, and your budget is right there with you to give you permission. So again, building out that budget, you guys, click that link, build your first budget through that link, because tonight we have so many great deals for you. We want you to get plugged into this stuff, you guys. And then later on, you'll download the app and you'll get all of this there on your phone. Now, the last thing that I think is probably one of the best features is that month to month, Every Dollar will duplicate your budget. So here in January, you go in up there and you can click to February. And then as you click to February, it's going to just duplicate all of your numbers. Now, you still have to be proactive. Go in there, because there'll be line items from January that you don't need in February. There'll be new line items in February you'll want to add. So again, you're still being proactive in your budget, but you don't have to start from scratch, which is so great, Jade, because every month is different,
That's
and
right.
that's why I love every dollar.
No, that's right.
So you guys, to recap, remember, you can make your first budget in 5 minutes. Click that link in the description to build that first budget. Plan your paychecks, no matter when you're paid, what you're being paid, plan them out. And also make sure to track your transactions because that is so key. And Jade, that's what keeps it an every dollar budget, which we love. Okay, so we're gonna pitch it back over to Dave to share an exciting announcement about a giveaway.
Time to give away our first $1,000. As a reminder, we're giving away $10,000 tonight. And Eric A. from North Dakota is our first winner. Eric, our team will be in touch with you, and we'll get your $1,000 out. We're going to give away another $9,000 over the next few minutes. So be watching. Look for your name in the chat. That's where we'll be doing it. And earlier I said that most of you watching said you're not consistently following a budget, that you couldn't miss a paycheck. You're right on the edge. You're in this crisis mode. And also, most of you said that your primary emotions when it comes to money are fear, shame, and guilt. And finally, 80% of people in America have said they've been in this financial situation for most of our adult life. Guys, this is the moment to decide. Are you going to break the cycle? You've been trapped most of your adult life. Are you going to break this? We've all got enough excuses, not enough time, not enough money. It's my parents' fault, it's my spouse's fault, it's the president's fault. It's not. At some point, it's my fault. Now, these things may not be your fault, but they are your responsibility. And it comes down to a choice. You have the right and the obligation to do something different. If you choose to stay right where you are, what is this cycle costing you? A life of mediocrity, stress, and anxiety. Instead, you could choose peace, financial peace. Two words that don't go together, like airline service. You can have peace at life, peace at work, peace in your relationships. And these things all do run together. Now, I value peace because, like some of the other Ramsey personalities, I've lived the opposite. I've lived in fear, even terror. When I was 28 years old, I was at the bottom of a deep valley. I had started with nothing, and I built a $4 million portfolio of real estate with $1 million net worth and making $250,000 a year in 1982. Long time ago. It was a lot of money back then. But I blew it. I borrowed too much money, I got too far in debt, and I fell way over the edge. And the year Rachel was born, I had a brand new baby, a toddler, and a marriage hanging on by a thread, and we filed bankruptcy. It was awful. I remember standing in the shower with as hot as I could stand it in my face, and I'd stand there and just cry because I was so freaking scared, and I didn't know what to do. So I had to do something different. You know the old saying, if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. And you know the other old saying, continuing to do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. We've heard these things, but when you're in a situation like that, you got to change. So I decided we're going to start doing something different. And you can do something different. Same is true for you. Take what you've learned tonight, use the tools we're going to show you, and start to win. Tonight's your night. Start right now. Every dollar premium that Jade and Rachel just talked about, where it connects to your bank, checks your transactions every day, it's the financial equivalent of weighing yourself every morning after you're working out, doing your run. You use that paycheck planning that comes with the every dollar premium to get your confidence to spend, get the stuff in the right part of the month where the thing actually freaking works. Get in one of our free one-on-one coaching sessions and daily group coaching from our team. And we put together a 90-day plan with every dollar. And it's going to guide you through every next right step with your money. We're going to hold your hand and show you how to do this. Every dollar premium is normally $79.99 a year, but tonight it's only $64.99. That's less than $6 a month. And we all know that's less than 1 cup of Starbucks, right? So to get this deal, click the link in the description or go to everydollar.com/start. Our second offer is Ramsey Plus. It's the whole enchilada. It's the second option tonight, all in one, and it gives you all the stuff I just talked about with every dollar premium. Every dollar premium's there, plus a ton more. It includes Financial Peace University, which is our 9-lesson class that 10 million people in America have been through to learn how to get out of debt get on a budget, agree on spending with their spouse, change their generosity, and become baby steps millionaires. There's courses in there in addition to Financial Peace University on anxiety with Dr. John Deloney. We've got parenting stuff in there, career stuff from Ramsey personality Ken Coleman, increasing your income, and all of the audiobooks from all of our Ramsey personalities bestsellers are in there, included for free. And you know, if you start listening to those audiobooks in your car on your way to work, your car turns into automobile university. You can get the equivalent of a university degree just listening to this kind of stuff in your car instead of listening to junk. We've also got Ramsey Smart Tax in there, which is our tax software. It's included free, so you can file your taxes free. And Ramsey Plus is normally $129 for all of that. Tonight, $99, which of course is less than $8 a month. To get that same deal, go to the same link in the description right now or go to everydollar.com/start. Either one of them will cause you to move forward, whether you just get the basic premium or whether you do the whole enchilada with Ramsey Plus. It's a no-brainer, guys. Now, it's time to quit saying one day, start saying day one. Get on the same page with your spouse. Get control of your money. Be intentional. Start to think out 90 days. What's it going to be like when you get to spring break this year and you don't have any payments? Or you get to spring break and you're in control for the first time ever. This is crazy. We're going to be walking with you. And there's 1,100 folks on the Ramsey team right here in Nashville, and we're all thinking about you. We spend millions of dollars on this Every Dollar app, constantly upgrading it, iterating it, making it better. Same with Financial Peace University. We're there for you. We exist to help you change your whole future, to create transformation. So you can create your account right now by clicking the link in the description or visiting everydollar.com/start. Now, we got a plan. We've been talking about with Dr. John Deloney. We hear Rachel. You've gotten, of course, George Camel. And I really want you to hear from one of my favorite speakers on the planet, our own Jade Warshaw. She's going to help you talk about someday in a whole different way. So, Jade, it's all yours.
Wow, Dave, thank you so much. Hey, I'm glad you guys are here tonight on this live stream. You know, we've all seen those great action movies, right? That have those amazing car chase scenes. I'm thinking about Keanu Reeves, before The Matrix, George, all right? Speed, okay? I'm thinking about Uma Thurman in Kill Bill, or maybe Liam Neeson. Yes, a classic. Come on, the Taken movies, that is Liam Neeson in his prime. But the hero is always in a getaway car, right? He's like speeding to get away from these bad guys. And if it's a really good movie, that's not only himself to save, but he's got like women and children in the car that he needs to save as well. And inevitably, what does the hero face? There's always a barrier, right? There's always another car or something to jump over, separating the hero from where he needs to go. My favorite barrier, the chain link fence. Man, the chain link fence is always in the way. It's always closed tight with one of those padlocks on it. And of course, it's got the barbed wire on the top of the fence. And somehow it's on a bridge too, a bridge with water on every side and a very steep fall if the hero were to go off the bridge. And the hero believes if he can just bust through that fence, there's freedom on the other side, right? If he can just get past those bad guys chasing him, it'll no longer be a threat. So with sweat pouring down his face and his eyes narrowed, he's focused. He pushes the pedal to the metal, the car rams through the fence, and of course, that sets off a series of like random explosions in the background, ensuring that our bad guy is no longer a problem. And the hero busts through the fence, the gates burst wide open, and he drives off into the sunset. Wow, what a great scene. That's a great movie. Man, we love movies like that, don't we? We love when the hero is both brave and courageous. We love to see the hero win. But what if the scene were different? Let's take a moment and rewind back. Let's think for a moment. What if the hero approached the fence with his nemesis gaining on him, but instead of speeding the car up, he actually began to slow the car down? As a matter of fact, he comes to a complete stop when he gets to the fence. And then our hero gets out of the car and he kind of begins cautiously, walking around, seeing if there's a way to get around the fence. He tries the padlock. No, that won't work. And when he realizes there's no way to get around the fence or through the fence, he gets back into the car. And instead of gunning the engine forward, he puts the car in reverse. He doesn't believe that he has the ability to go through the fence or around the fence. And so he puts the car in reverse and drives back towards the very mess and the very chaos that he was trying to escape. Man, this movie sucks. I don't know about you, but I want my money back. Okay, what happened to our hero? And yet, this is what so many of us do when it comes to our money journey. It's like we're all hype and no fight, right? We come to the beginning of the year and we're like, all right, I'm ready. This is my year. This is the year I'm getting out of debt. I'm getting on a budget. I'm getting everything on track. And we feel super optimistic until the moment that we face a barrier, right? We come against that fence, and the moment we hit it, we want to turn and go back the other way because we don't believe that we actually have what it takes to bust through that barrier. Now, Rachel and I, we just laid the plan out for you. We gave you the blueprint, but if there's anything I've learned, it's this. If behavior is your getaway car, belief is what's in the driver's seat, okay? Your belief is what drives your behavior. Depending on what you believe, you'll either ram through that fence, right? Or you'll put the car in reverse and go back the other way. Listen, this plan, the plan we laid out for you, that's not in your driver's seat. Dave Ramsey, he's not in your driver's seat. I'm certainly not in your driver's seat. Your belief is the only thing in your driver's seat. And I can tell you, you're always gonna encounter barriers, okay? On this financial journey, you're gonna hit mental blocks, okay? These obstacles, they are guaranteed. But you won't make progress, you won't ram that fence if you don't actually believe that it's possible for someone like you, okay? And I know some of you are like, okay, Jade, I'm getting it. That's me. Like, I'm the one who keeps getting caught up in the same cycle of fear and guilt and shame. And I'll be honest, yeah, Jade, it has caused me to retreat. But what am I supposed to do about that? Can you help me? How can I change that? Well, I've got 2 thoughts for you. And this is what's worked for me, okay? Number 1, you've got to challenge those beliefs, okay? 2 Corinthians 10:5 tells us we have to take every thought captive and make it obedient to Christ. In other words, we've got to take our thoughts and make them obedient to what's true, okay? Maybe you're like, Jade, I don't read the Bible. I'm not a Christian person. That's okay. I'm happy you're here. But let's look at what Dr. John Deloney says. He says, we have to demand evidence of our thoughts. So much of what we believe is simply not true. And so this is the time that we've got to get serious about calling out those thoughts. Case in point, I'll be the first example. When I was a kid, a phrase that I heard over and over growing up was this: we ain't got no money. We ain't got no money for this. We ain't got no money for that. Was it true? Probably not. But it didn't matter because I believed it. And as an adult, I started kind of taking that on as my status in life. I ain't got no money, so that's the reason that I've got to borrow money. I ain't got no money, so that's the reason that there's limitations on my income. It just makes sense. And I ain't got no money, so a budget probably wouldn't help me. Maybe you've got that same I ain't got no money thought of your own. Maybe it's somebody like me just can't save money, or a budget could never help somebody in my situation, or whatever your exception to the rule may be. Listen, this is the time to get your mind right. Man, you got to start challenging those thoughts. All right, Jade, I hear you guys. You're like, all right, Jade, I'm rocking with you. Like, I can see, I definitely have some money thoughts that could be better. I definitely have some of those screwed up thoughts as it relates to money. What can I do about it? What do I do next? All right, here's the next thing to do. You got to flood your mind with truth. All right? Romans 12:2 tells us, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Simply put, you got to get new thoughts into your mind, okay? And at the end of the day, think about that old adage, right? Whatever you feed grows, and whatever you starve dies. So it's time to start starving those negative, untrue beliefs about money that haven't been serving you anyway, and start feeding yourself truth. And I can tell you this, when you get involved with Ramsey Solutions, man, you're really just getting involved with a community of truth tellers. We're gonna tell you the truth, all right, through FPU, through Ramsey Plus, certainly through Every Dollar, most definitely through The Ramsey Show. If you're not listening to that, you need to be. But this is you flooding your mind with truth. Now, when my husband Sam and I were getting out of our debt, we paid off $460,000 of debt, guys. That $500,000 almost of debt. And I can tell you this, I knew it was a financial journey, but I also knew it was a mindset and a belief journey. I had to get my mind right. So we were listening to the Ramsey Show every day, okay? I'm opening up that Every Dollar app every single day. And I was engaged with other things like Financial Peace University, even to the point that I even taught Financial Peace University with my husband. And by doing that, that's us submerging ourselves in daily truth to the point where those weak lies that we used to believe about money, man, they started to just sound ridiculous. They started to fall by the wayside, and we started to realize how much power we actually had. I was able to change my mind. I was able to change my beliefs. And you can too. Listen, I want you to look right here. I want you to know that you're more powerful than you could ever imagine, okay? You can accomplish more than you ever thought possible. And this year, it's hard pass on anything that tells you otherwise. Listen, 2024, this is your year. You're speeding towards a fence right now. Use this momentum. Use this feeling to bust through it. Now, are you going to be that person who just lets that same old cycle of fear and guilt and shame turn you around? Or are you going to be the hero who busts through the barrier and breaks the cycle? Be the hero. Speaking of heroes, I'd love to bring back to the stage Dave Ramsey.
Thanks, Jade. You're incredible. Wow. If you aren't fired up after that, something's wrong with you. Hard to light wet wood. Wow. As we said before, personal finance is 80% behavior. It's 20% head knowledge. If I can get the guy in my mirror to behave, he can be skinny and rich. And the way you change behavior is you change your beliefs. And the way you change your beliefs is you get new information, a new way of looking at things. You can do that through several lenses, and we've tried to help you with all of those lenses tonight. We can go through the intellectual lens, the academic lens, and so we get 2 PhDs up here with Dr. John Deloney looking at this through all the nerd stuff and trying to get you that way. Hey, we can recognize our outside foes and our enemies. Who's the villain? It's not you, but it is your responsibility. And George helped you with that. You can look at it through the lens of community, people around you, because you become who you hang around with, that's for sure. And you can look at it through the lens, like Jade helped us with, of the spiritual and what God's got to say about this. The more lenses that you look at your situation through and adjust your behaviors, the more likely you are to get control of this area of your life. Now, we're offering this tool tonight, as we said, every dollar. Buy tonight the premium access for 1 year with one-on-one coaching, group coaching, 90-day plan. We're going to walk with you. You can check it all out and be sure and click the link. I'm often asked when I'm being interviewed, Dave, what's the number one mistake people make with their money? You've probably heard that a bazillion times in the last 30 years. And as if there's like the credit card or crypto, or there's one stupid thing that's more stupid than the other stupid things. And it's not. The number one mistake people make with their money is they don't pay attention. They're not intentional. No one becomes successful at anything. No one wins at anything unless it's a series of intentional acts. No one accidentally has a great marriage. No one accidentally has a great career. No one accidentally wins the World Series. No one accidentally wins. It's a series of intentional acts. Now, why would you take these intentional acts that are painful usually? Because there's a price to be paid to win. We know that. Why would we do that if we didn't think they were going to work? I mean, it'd be a psychological disorder if you were just doing it just for the pain, right? No, we do it because we believe they're going to work. When you believe they're going to work, that's called hope. And hope, when it's not there, man, it lets the air out of everything. Proverbs says, hope deferred makes the heart sick. Hopelessness makes the heart sick. And the proverb continues and says, but when desire comes, it is the tree of life. The great motivator, Les Brown, has always said, people change their lives when they finally get sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they have that moment where they say, that's it, I've had it. when you've had an I had it moment, you don't care what other people think, and you're going to change something. I hope tonight we can lead you to your I've had it moment, which is where hope is born. Because now things change when hope is born. Because hope is what we do at Ramsey. We know a lot about it. It's very real. We see it light up in people's eyes when they start to believe. And right after that's when they change their behaviors. And right after that is when we see them start to win. Thanks for joining us tonight. We love you, and we're cheering you on. 2024 is going to be awesome, baby.
Hi, Dave. I'm good. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So I was wondering, we're currently in baby step number 2. My husband and I were both asked to be in his brother's wedding at the end of this year, so bridesmaid, best man. It's proving to be somewhat of a financial burden so far, so my question is, do we tell them no, or do we keep the peace in the family and just go for it and pay for it?
What is expensive about this?
So on the bride's portion alone, there's a $400 dress and shoes, $180 hair and makeup. Basically, she
You're
wants us to
paying
pay
for
her
your hair and makeup?
She basically has made it a requirement to pay for hair and makeup to be done. She wants every bridesmaid to chip in $100 for her bridal shower, about $100 for bachelorette, the hotel, and then we all have to get, go to lunch and get the same pedicure and manicure. And that's just the bride's portion.
Yeah. Traditionally, the bride pays for all of that.
Yeah, I was a little confused by it, too.
Yeah. I mean, I've done a couple of these weddings in terms of my daughter's getting married, and I distinctly remember we didn't pay for the dress. Bridesmaid pays for your dress, and the guy pays for his tux or whatever, but that's pretty much it. Are they... what is your household income?
Right now it's 92.
Mm-hmm. And how much debt do you have?
I have 35 in student loans and 11,000 on a car.
You have. He doesn't have any debt?
My husband, no, but our house is worth, we have $250 on our house.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. And it's his brother, so that's already pissing you off. The thing that's concerning is how Bridezilla is throwing her weight around on this. That's what's concerning, and rude, frankly. Yeah. So how many brothers and sisters does he have?
So my husband will be the best man, and then their little sister will also be a bridesmaid, and she's in the same, not the same boat, but she feels the same way as far as the financial burden.
She feels the same way. Okay, when is the wedding?
I'm sorry, what was that?
When's the wedding?
It's going to be December 30th, so just a few days after Christmas.
Yeah, and are they in the same city with you?
Yes.
Okay. So just from experience and having done this wrong a couple times, I would suggest you don't talk about this, but your husband, it's his family, needs to deal with it, because you're going to be the Wicked Witch of the West if you bring it up. Okay, yeah. But I think he needs to sit down with his brother and go, dude, really? That's what I would do if it was my brother. You've got to be kidding me. So, because, to a degree, I mean, I would try to meet them somewhere in there. I would want you to spend a little money out of your $90,000 income while you're getting out of debt to be in his brother's wedding as his best man. Yes, yeah, you want to do that. You don't want to miss that, okay? But the over the top stuff, I mean, the tux and the dress is the norm, okay? The rest of it's over the top, and so we're just not, we're broke, and we're trying to get out of debt, and we just can't participate in some of that other stuff. So, So Amy will be doing her own hair and her own makeup, which she does every day, and no one's, shot at us yet when she left the house. So, so far she's doing okay. She pretty much knows how to paint her own barn, so it's okay. And, golly, I don't believe it. So, yeah, I mean, I just think he needs to sit down with his brother and handle this and go, look, we just can't do this. We love you, and we want to be in your wedding. And I can pay for the tux, and we'll pay for Amy's dress, but the rest of this stuff, we're just not able to do it. And, if that means you don't want us in the wedding, then that's up to you. But this is what we can do. And or whatever level of you can go. I mean, if you want to put a couple $100 more in it or something, that's fine. But the problem here is the complete disrespect for boundaries. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And it's
I agree.
And so that just needs to be addressed, and you just need to keep your mouth shut because you're going to cause problems if you open your mouth because you're dying to get in the middle of this, and you don't need to do that. You're going to cause problems you're going to deal with for 15 years.
Right, and that's my issue with it is I don't want it to be bigger than it is.
It's not worth it for that. But do we just completely acquiesce when someone's being unreasonable in either family, yours or his? No, we don't. We can address it and kindly, and he can sit down with his brother one-on-one. Maybe, I don't know, is his dad involved?
Yeah, and he's actually contributing a certain amount of money every month to a bank account that they can use for the wedding.
Yeah, which is kind of nice. So, I'm just saying, if maybe the three guys go out for coffee, and Dad and big brother look at little brother and go, look, asking the bridesmaids to pay for all this stuff's like over the top. And number one. Number two, we don't have it because we're getting out of debt right now. We love you. We want to be in the wedding. Tux, dress, plus X, we can do. The rest of this stuff, we're not doing it. Now, he needs to be kind, but I'm just giving you the basic message, right? But this is all coded in. He loves his brother. He wants to be in the wedding. I want to honor you, sir. I want to stand with you. We've been through a lot together, and I want to be there with you on this special day. But we got to have some kind of boundary here because this is feeling whacked. And he can have that. Two guys can have that conversation, and everybody not be pissed off.
Yeah.
Especially two brothers. But I'm guarantee you pull Bridezilla and you in the same room, this ain't gonna work at all.
No, it wouldn't be pretty.
No, that's the kind of stuff that families are mad about for 20 years. So you don't want to do that. That's what you don't want to do. But also, I agree with you that just completely acquiescing with someone's unreasonable spending of your money as a requirement to be nice in the family is a little pushy, to say the least. So I think your point is there. Just be very careful about how you make it because you don't want to blow this thing up. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show. Today's question's from Petra in Texas. I'm a single 25-year-old in baby step 2. A couple of good friends getting married this year. They're planning a destination wedding. How do I budget in the cost of not only a gift, but the flights, hotel rooms, the extra cocktail parties, and outings that go along with a destination wedding? I don't want to miss out on the experience because these are good friends, but they are going to be expensive. Well, you're not going to like my answer. Broke people should not go to destination weddings. That's my answer. Destination wedding is an excuse for a vacation. It's a wonderful thing for people that have money. But when broke people go to a destination wedding, you know what you call that? More debt. Because even if you budgeted the money out of your income and used it, it's money you would have been paying down on your debt, so effectively you have borrowed the money to go to a destination wedding. And I got to tell you, I think it's a bad idea. See, here's the funny thing. I was when Sharon and I got married, you go through that phase. Everybody you know is getting married, so you're in all the weddings. And then everybody you know is having babies, and so everybody has a baby shower. and then everybody you know is doing this, and everybody you know is doing that, and everybody, you go through this phase of life with your friends. You know, the number of people that I was in their wedding that I still see 25 years later. Hey, one. Maybe. I'm not mad at them. I didn't get mad at them. It wasn't I was a jerk or they were a jerk. They just moved away, and I didn't talk to them in a while. And it's okay. It's just kind of life. But so probably whether I bought them a baby shower gift or not, it's probably going to be okay one way or the other. And you sure as a flip can't afford to fly to Mexico and go to somebody's wedding when you're broke. So, see, that sounds like I'm a no-fun guy. I'm not a no-fun guy. I believe in living like no one else, so later you can live like no one else. As a matter of fact, a friend of ours is getting married. His kid is getting married at a destination wedding. And I think we're going to go. And we like the kid. And we certainly love our friend, and that'll be, but you know why we're going? Because it kind of sounds like fun. Because we've lived like no one else, and now we're not broke, and we can do that. But my 25-year-old son might not be able to afford to do that. He maybe can, but a lot of people can't at 25 years old. And he's been in, good gosh, he's in a wedding every weekend. What is wrong with you people? Is the average wedding party now 15 people or something? I mean, it was just, we used to go see the preacher and he went, yeah, done. And you were gone. I mean, it was like, wow, this is a dadgum Hollywood production, every one of these things now. My kids, too. I mean, my daughter's had big weddings. I'm not mad about this. It's just an interesting shift in the culture. A lot of things have shifted since I was, since I had hair. But, yeah, so anyway, no. I can't, you ask me, so you get my answer. I'm sorry, it goes with the territory. I would have to say, if I were in your shoes and I were 23 or 26 and I had no money, I would not go on a destination wedding. And you'll live through it, and they'll live through it. Basically, what are you missing? A vacation. And you're broke. Broke people don't need to be going on vacation. Broke people need to be working and not being broke people anymore. Live like no one else, so later you can live like no one else. And because you do whatever you want. I got a feeling I'm not talking you out of this. That's why I'm yakking about it. And some of you people are rolling your eyes going, I can't believe you telling them not to go on that wedding. But I mean, really, seriously, I can promise you 25 years from now, there's about a 90% probability of zero relationship with these people that you're about to go in debt to go to their wedding. That's the truth. And that might be if it's your sister even. It could be. I don't know. I don't know about your family. But for sure, friends. I mean, I can, and again, I haven't had a falling out with a bunch of my friends. It wasn't anything like that. And a bunch of them, it's like, how many people do you still talk to from high school? 35 years after you graduate from high school. One? I mean, there's 400 and something in our graduating class. And again, I'm not mad at them. I think I've stayed in touch with 4 or 5 of them is all. It's, and once a year on that basis. So I'm not going to suggest you reform your life on something that might not be as permanent a relationship as you feel like it is right now. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show.